Hi, I'm Fern of Y Stars Astrology, and I'm here to help you connect with the sky above and the earth below. If this sounds interesting, please keep watching, especially to learn more about how to navigate the end of 2024 using astrology and herbs. So we have two very interesting and impactful transits that are affecting this last part of 2024. The first one is Mercury retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius, and Mercury retrograde on November 24th. The next one is this one that's coming up on December 6th, and this is Mars going retrograde in the sign of Leo. So Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, it's a fire sign. Mars retrograde in Leo, also a fire sign. And we still have the transiting North Node in Aries, a fire sign. So we've got a lot of fire energy. So before I get into my 5 tips to help you navigate the end of 2024, I want to talk a little bit about this fire energy because this is really going to influence this last month of 2024. So fire, we're all familiar with it, whether or not we have a gas stove we cook our food on, or a fireplace, or a wood burning stove. Fire is an element that is all around us and that everybody is familiar with. So fire is in an astrological sense, it's creative, it's action oriented, it's courageous, it's a leader, gets things started, it initiates. And when you have fire in its more positive sense, it really can help us kind of align with those qualities in ourselves and in life. But just like fire in nature, in the natural world, if it's too much, if fire burns too hot, if we add too much fuel to the flame, there can be destruction, there can be conflict. So entering into this very fiery time period at the end of 2025, we want to cultivate the more positive qualities of fire and avoid the more challenging qualities. So we've got 2 retrogrades on the table, Mercury and Mars. And anytime a planet is retrograde, it means that things are slowing down and that we really will do best during these retrograde periods to use all the rewords. So rethinking, reviewing, renegotiating, removing, anything you can think of around a reword is going to help you during a strong retrograde period. So we've got the 2 planets that are retrograde right now, Mercury, the planet of communication and learning, networking and making connections, and also Mars, which is the planet of taking action and using our will in the world. Mars is a very physical planet, so it's about the body. So both of these planets, the qualities of them, they're going to become more internalized, and we're going to need to kind of use those parts of ourselves in a much more slow way and look back to the past for lessons about those parts of our lives and those qualities within us. So this brings me to my 5 tips to help you navigate the rest of 2024 with astrology and herbs. So my first tip is to slow down. And you're probably hearing this from a lot of different astrologers right now. And it's really important. And my particular take on slowing down is that sometimes when we have to slow down, we slow down because we're forced to. We don't have any other choice. We get stuck, we have an accident, something happens in our life that we can't keep moving at the pace that we were. So I think it's really important before that happens to focus on slowing down and to entertain the possibility that slowing down can be a celebration. It doesn't have to be something that's painful or that we struggle against or that's no fun. that we can create rituals and routines that help us slow down with purpose and with pleasure. So just thinking about what might help you slow down in a way that feels good, and also notice what stands in the way of your slowing down, and really kind of spending some time thinking about that. If those things that stand in the way of you slowing down are really necessary in your life, or if they can be navigated around. So that's tip number one. Tip number two is it's probably going to be important for a lot of us during this time to change our relationship with what we think of as success. And this is because when we have two planets like Mercury and Mars retrograde, both of those planets are planets that move quickly. They're strong. One of their kind of superpowers or their strong points is being able to move really quickly at a fast pace. And whenever a planet's retrograde, it's not going to be moving at the same pace it's used to. It's going to be, at least optical illusion wise, it's going to be kind of like it's going backwards. So it's going back over territory it's already moved through so that it can get a better look, a deeper look, gather new information. And so there can be times during these retrograde periods where we might feel frustrated and feel like we're not gaining the type of success that we might normally value. And so this can be a really good time to assess what our ideas of success are and what that means for us. And during these times, progress comes in a different package. It comes from the inside out. So some questions you might want to ask yourself during these retrograde period at the end of the year is what makes you feel like a success? And has this changed over the years? Do you see this changing in the future? Is it going through a process of change right now, even? So that's tip number two. Tip number three is this is a really good time, and this holds true for every end of year period, that it's a really good time to review the past year, but especially in 2024 because of these two retrograde planets, Mercury and Mars. So when we're reviewing our year, it allows us the space and it's just kind of, it gives, there's sort of a generosity of giving us the time to integrate what's happened to us this year. So going back to that beginning and seeing where you were then and what's changed, what stayed the same, what might you want to celebrate, any regrets you have, but just spending a little bit of your kind of your focus, your energy on reviewing 2024. And then that's tip number three. Tip number four is really related mostly to Mars retrograde, but it also, we can bring in Mercury because Mercury is the planet that has to do with our nervous system. And Mars is the planet that has a lot of associations with our overall physical body and health and vitality. So this tip number four is to reconnect with your body. Have a conversation. You can talk to your body. How are you doing? What do you need more of? What do you need less of? And making the time to listen to your body's answers. During Mars retrograde, we may be reviewing some of our habits and patterns, how we take care of our overall health, and how we nurture and care for our bodies. And this can be a really good time to assess any patterns or habits that might need to be changed. When Mars goes direct, which happened at the end of February of 2025, we may have more like actually putting some of our plans in place, but this time period of December and January is a good time to just do that reviewing and listening process. Okay, and then finally, I have my My tip number 5 is some herbs and flower essences for the end of the year. So I had to narrow this down to just 2 because I think it can get overwhelming if, I throw a lot at you, herb-wise. And so I like to keep it simple when I'm giving recommendations. So even though there were so many different plants that wanted to appear in this video, the 2 that really kind of came to the forefront, one is the herb cinnamon, which pretty much everybody has in their pantry. And cinnamon is such a great herb for December. It's included in a lot of holiday blends, potpourris or essential oils. But if you would like to integrate cinnamon in a more intentional way, you can make a tea out of it, and just getting cinnamon sticks and pouring some hot water over and sipping on that, at different moments of your day. Cinnamon is really gently warming, and it is an herb that brings back really good memories. It has kind of a sweet flavor to it. And it's just a really wonderful herb to help us kind of slow down and stay warm. And it's also good for your circulation. So if you're in an area of the world that's cold at this time of year, cinnamon kind of helps your body keep flowing and get your blood moving. And then a flower essence that's really good that can help support you in doing all of these tips, slowing down, reviewing, is impatiens. And impatiens flower essence is available through a number of different flower essence companies, but it does help us to become more patient and to helps us kind of look more deeply at what it is that is instigating feelings of impatience. So I hope you found all of these tips helpful. If you would like to learn more about the Mars retrograde, you can check out an interview I did with Dabney Lawless of Lawless Astrology, and it's also on my channel, Wise Stars Astrology, and I dive deeper into the Mars retrograde. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch today.